Hi, I have no idea what I want to talk about, but I wanted to make a video. Yeah, so I just feel like I need to make another video because I need to make videos more often, but I haven't planned anything. Well, I had an idea for a video I want to make. I just think that I want to like take time to think about what I'm actually going to say for that one. So that's going to take more time, and that's time that I haven't taken yet. So now I'm just going to talk and see what comes out. Maybe I want to talk about the last video that I posted. And, something that I wish more people understood about me is that I don't just say things. And you know how people on the internet always make these. Okay, I don't want to sound like I had any issues with the last video. It's just something that I think about in general of where, people will say things on the internet and then you get people in your comments like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And it's like, bro, I don't know why you're assuming that the person hasn't thought about this. It just might not be what they were wanting to talk about in the moment. Like, if everybody always went into all the nuance all the time, it's just too much. It's asking a lot of people to always explain every single nuance all the time. Like, it's a lot. It's unreasonable. And I feel like people on the internet should stop assuming things about people all the time. Because then it's like people start assuming like malicious intentions in people, or like assuming complete ignorance about something. And it's like, no. It's just that sometimes people want to talk about specific things and want to touch on like certain areas of a larger thing. And it's like if you talk about everything, everybody's videos would always be like 10 hours long. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's enough. That's enough about that, I guess. But yeah, I just wish people would recognize that I spend a lot of time thinking about things. I've thought about tons of things from all kinds of perspectives and things like this. I've considered many different things. And I like to tell people not to overanalyze the shit out of themselves all the time, but I myself overanalyze the shit out of everything. And so when I say things most of the time, I'm not just saying shit that I haven't given any thought to, or like talk about things that I don't know quite a bit about. So, that being said, earlier I had thought about specifically talking about the shadow, like a person's shadow, and what people often talk about as being shadow work and doing shadow work. Though recently I'm a little bit more fond of the term shadow love. We talk about working so much, and it's like that's not motivating at all, and that doesn't really feel self loving. So shadow love, right? A lot of people still have the misconception, I think, about the shadow being just negative things, just holding like negative, low vibrational emotions and stuff. Like it's just sadness, anger, grief, jealousy, all those things that are not good qualities. Like, first of all, there's really no good and bad. So it's like, get rid of that to begin with. And even if it's something that's hard to love about yourself, you should love it anyway. But there's so yeah, you should love all of it regardless. And that's why you should spend time getting to know those more subconscious and unconscious parts of yourselves and allowing, like, shining the light on that. And so, again, I've said it's not about shunning darkness, it's not about judging darkness, it's not about condemning darkness, it's not about condemning your lower self or anything that you are. It's not about condemning anything and hating anything and like trying to get rid of anything or anything like that. It's about bringing the light into it. It's about making, and by bringing the light onto it, into it, I'm meaning making the unconscious conscious. So you're bringing it into your awareness. And that's something that happens on the individual level as well as the collective level of, and it's kind of a theme right now going on in the greater scheme of things, of where more truths are being uncovered, they're being brought to the light, so to speak, they're being illuminated, right? It's not about destroying and getting rid of, it's about bringing it into awareness, like uncovering it. Because a lot of like what I'm speaking about, it's the unseen things, the hidden things. Which again, I'm not saying hate. I'm actually quite literally telling everybody to do the opposite by going directly into the darkness and illuminating it. Because I mean, what good is it doing anyone to stay in the darkness? You're unaware of it. All kinds of shit happens when you're not aware of things but you are aware on a at a level that is not conscious, so it's still things that are playing out in your reality, but you're being very unconscious about it. And it's like things get a lot better when you become more conscious of things. And so that's really what I'm saying. So illuminating the darkness, because otherwise these things are just what abandoned by you and by us as a collective. But what I was trying to say at the beginning is, the misconception about it all being bad is it's not true. Not everything in your shadow, not everything that is unseen is something negative. There's a lot of the times people's greatest gifts are in their shadow. And I'd say especially, I talk about autism and ADHD on here and that, and like especially when you're neurodivergent or just different, because of course you could be a neurodivergent person who had a very loving and accepting upbringing where you're allowed to be yourself, which is absolutely beautiful. So maybe you wouldn't push down those things and suppress a lot of your qualities if you were just accepted and allowed to be yourself. But a lot of people aren't. And then, regardless of neurotype, if you just don't have people around you who were accepting growing up, it's likely that you suppressed a lot about yourself because it wasn't accepted. But a lot of those things are what's the best about you. It's your unique qualities and talents, gifts, like things that the world needs, but you have suppressed it by being ashamed and buried things deep down. So it's like it's not only, negative things and like regrets of your past and that kind of thing in your shadow, but it's also some of your greatest gifts in there that you're afraid of because other people or society, the world made you feel like those things were unacceptable, unlovable, not worthy, not useful in any sort of way, but it's just not true. And so it's like when you going into doing shadow love, as I said, it's not just gonna be like, yes, it's all of it's probably going to be difficult because again, it's stuff that you've hidden, stuff that you've made yourself feel ashamed of, and things like that, and things that you avoid actively or on a subconscious level. You're avoiding certain things and not acknowledging things, and so it's difficult to go into that and not feel any sort of hesitation or fear. But to assume that you're only gonna find bad, horrible things it's not an assumption that you want to go into it with. Because yeah, you're gonna face difficult things. You're gonna have to face things that are hard to accept about yourself, to see about yourself. But also, like I said, you might find that you uncover your greatest gifts. So there's a lot of value in it. But you also don't want to do it just for that either, just to be like doing it because, oh, I need to reclaim my greatest gifts so that I can accomplish X, Y, Z, and then I'll be worthy. Like, you don't want to go in with that mentality either. You want to go in just with the openness and willingness to see yourself fully, completely, and to love all parts of you, no matter what you encounter. And so there's that element. And also, when I talk about darkness, I'm speaking of kind of like, however you want to see it, however esoteric you want to go with it. You could get to the level of like, these are energies of like entities, of like lower vibrational entities who show up in all kinds of ways. I mean, if you're really gifted, you might literally, see and hear things that other people don't, and understand that this is some kind of energy existing like outside of you. Really, nothing is outside of you, but you know what I mean. Or it's just like, or energy that moves through different people in your life. Any type of energy that seeks to shame you, to make you feel powerless, to make you afraid, anything trying to make you afraid, and things like that. That's like that's the energy that I'm speaking of when I'm referring to darkness. And even you could see it as an energy that comes to you when a person becomes very depressed, and it's the energy that comes to you and tells you things like you're worthless and there's no point of living and nothing matters and all those types of negative things. And obviously, no one wants to stay in that energy because it doesn't feel good. Why should you be wanting to make your to continue to feel powerless and like you're nothing, because you're not. Everybody is at the truth of them incredible, powerful, super capable of achieving great things in whatever unique way that is for every individual. And so, again, and that's where I'm saying like the energy is not to go into it with this shunning that energy and shaming that energy and trying to destroy that energy, because it's at the end of the day, everything is you. It's all you. We all come from the same source, and these are just energies that kind of got lost along the way. And we all, yes, there is a kind of like a universal balance thing, and we exist in polarity, and there's really no one thing without the other, right? Which is fine. But you also like, I think it's clear that there's been an imbalance here. There's been an imbalance here in the negative direction, because it's like some people got a little too carried away with their roles here, and it became this way of manipulating and controlling people, and keeping people away from their true power, which you know isn't right and wasn't the name of the game. And so it's like, when I'm talking about we're bringing more light here, like I'm literally talking about restoring things back into balance, because we're we're just at a time now where certain things have been going on for too long, and now there's many people here now to restore things into balance and to live out a new paradigm. It's a different world that we're creating. And okay, and so also what I would like to say is there is a misconception about a lot of things, and a mislabeling of things, of like labeling things as dark, bad, evil, energy of like you can't lump darkness in to mean evil all the time because that's not really right either. There's a lot of things that people were taught that were evil and like devilish and things like that that are not that. And even with like more people getting into spirituality and more people reclaiming things that were called like witchcraft and things like that, even people in that community, there's still a lot of things that they won't get into because they think it's evil because we've been told that it's evil when actually it's not evil. And so that's a whole deeper thing to get into because I'm sure there's lots of people who will feel a certain way about specific things and thinking that it's evil when it's not. It's just a lie that you've all been fed, right? So there's like a lot of things that I personally embrace in my life that are probably that a lot of people think is evil, and it's just not. And it's just not. And it's like if you really got into it and you really went in with your heart and these people that you might think are doing evil things and it's wrong and like you're gonna go to hell and all that types of stuff, if you really got to know those people that you think that are doing those horrible things and you really went in with it with your heart space and actually felt like, do I actually think this person is bad and evil? you know you you'll probably find that no, a lot of the times not. Yeah, there's people in the world obviously that do not have great intentions. It's all about using your discernment, right? But it's like, and first of all, you're not using your discernment when you just go with what everybody says. Like, oh, everybody says that this thing is bad. It's like, okay, but have you personally looked into that yourself? Have you felt into that energy for yourself to determine whether or not this thing is bad or good? And the same with a lot of things that people tell you is good. Have you felt into that? Does that actually feel right for you? You might find out a lot of things. You might, and it's scary for a lot of people when you first start trusting yourself and say, hey, I'm going to use my own discernment when it comes to things, and I'm not going to keep listening to what everybody has always told me my whole life. I mean, just think about the people who are raised in cults. I mean, that's a little bit more easy to understand that people are like, oh yeah, that's not good. But it's like if you're raised deep in a cult, you think that you're doing what's right. You've been brainwashed. And it's like people don't realize that that's actually happened to a lot of people. It's not just what things are recognized as cults, but there's kind of a lot of culty things within religion as a whole that people don't even recognize that they've just been going along with blindly, basically. And it's just, it's really all about discernment. And like one of my biggest motivations for being a person that talks on the internet to people is I'm I'm sharing things that I feel and that the things that have helped me get out of a place of deep depression, deep anxiety, feeling powerless, and all these sorts of things. And so I share things that have helped me, but I'm also, a big part of what I'm sharing is I'm encouraging people to tap into their own power, to ask themselves, does this resonate with me or not? Instead of just like listening to any and everything that somebody says, just because of maybe whatever credentials this person might have or whatever. I'm encouraging people to actually think for themselves. Hopefully this video has been somewhat coherent. I don't know. There's a reason I don't make a lot of videos where I've been doing it recently though, where I just start talking and hope that it comes together, and then I just have to do a lot of editing because I'm sure this video won't be nearly as long. Like that last, because how long was the last video that I posted? Because I'm pretty sure what I recorded was like almost 30 minutes, and then what it might be like 12 minutes or something. I don't remember exactly. But that's how it is with my videos. I hope that when I go to edit this that it actually makes sense and kind of follows some kind of like somewhat linear train of thought, hopefully. I don't know. But I feel like that's all I have to say for the moment. So, love you all. Have a beautiful life. I appreciate your support so much. If you would like to help me out monetarily, just because your boy could use it, um, but no pressure. But I'm gonna have some links in my description if you feel it in your heart to show some support. I really appreciate you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.